Namaste Bitya, myself JVN Neha Sani from Physiotherapy and Diagnostics. Here we discuss about the introduction of human anatomy. In this, we will cover the brief history, medical terminology, anatomical planes, directions, and movements. Now, the history from 300 BC and 2nd century, scientists, doctors, and artists would experiment and practice on the dead body. Cadavers were positioned flat on their back, thus making it easier to draw and reference from that posture. Many artists, such as Leonardo da Vinci, began to study and draw the diagram of the human body. Now, the definition of anatomy. Anatomy is a Greek word that is anatome, which means cutting up. Anatomy is the study of the structure of body parts and their relationship to one another. These are the subdivisions of anatomy: gross anatomy, microscopic anatomy, neuroanatomy, developmental anatomy, living anatomy, surface anatomy, radiographic anatomy, comparative anatomy, clinical anatomy, and sectional anatomy. So, the gross anatomy is divided into two branches, that is the regional and the systemic. Regional anatomy. Here we discuss all the structures in one part of the body, such as the abdomen or the leg. In systemic anatomy, the gross anatomy of the body is studied by system. In the diagram we can see the systemic anatomy, the different systems of the human body is studied, and in the regional anatomy, human body is divided into different regions, and in particular regions all the structures are covered. This is the microscopic anatomy. Here the structures are studied with the help of microscope. Then neuroanatomy, it is the study of nervous tissue and organs of the human body. Developmental anatomy, it is the study of embryological development of the human body. In living anatomy, the study of structures on living humans with the help of percussion or palpation is done. Surface anatomy, it is the study of external features of body surfaces caused by internal structures. In the diagram we can see the surface impressions of gluteus maximus and the gluteal fascia covering the gluteus medius, then tensor fascia lata, which are clearly visible. Then in radiographic anatomy, it is the study of human body structures using radiographic films. In comparative anatomy, the study of comparison of human body structures with lower organisms. In clinical anatomy, it is the application of knowledge of human body structures in clinical practice. In sectional anatomy, it is the study of human body structures with the help of sections. Either it is cross section, frontal section, transverse section. Now the medical terminology used in anatomy. So these are the various terms which are used in anatomy. On the posterior side, now some directional terms are superior and inferior, anterior and posterior, dorsal and ventral, proximal and distal, medial and lateral. This is the anatomical position. The anatomical position is the standardized method of observing or imagining the body that allows the precise and consistent anatomical references. When in the anatomical position, the subject stands straight, standing upright, facing the observer head level, eyes facing forward, feet flat on the floor, arms at the sides, palms turned forward. Now the terms of positions and directions describe the position of one body part relative to other. It usually along one of the three major body planes. For example, superior. It refers to a structure being closer to the head or higher than the another structure in the body. Inferior. It refers to a structure being closer to the feet or lower than another structure in the body. Anterior. It refers to a structure being more in front than another structure in the body. Posterior. It refers to a structure being more in the back than another structure in the body. Medial. It refers to a structure being closer to the midline or median plane of the body than another structure of the body. Lateral, it refers to a structure being farther away from the midline than another structure of the body. Distal, it refers to only extremities. Distal means structure being further away from the root of the limb than another structure in the limb. Proximal, it refers to a structure being closer to the root of the limb than another structure that in the limb. When you divide the skeleton into axial or appendicular, you can better understand the extremities and their spot like proximal and distals. Superficial, it refers to a structure being closer to the surface of the body than another surface, means close to the skin. Deep, it refers to a structure being closer to the core of the body than another structure. Ventral, it towards the front or the belly. Then dorsal, towards the back. Then prone position, it lying face down. In the image we can see a person is lying face down. This is the prone position. Then supine, it is the lying face up. Then unilateral, it is pertaining to one side of the body. Bilateral, it is pertaining to both sides of the body. Then the basic body planes or sections. These terms are used for planes for sections that cut the body, organs, tissues or cells. These are transverse plane, frontal plane, mid-sagittal plane. Anatomical planes are the fixed lines of reference along which the body is often divided or sectioned to facilitate viewing of its structures. It allows one to obtain a three-dimensional perspective by studying the body from different views. Sagittal plane is the plane dividing the body into right and left portions. Mid-sagittal or the median planes for the name of the plane dividing the body into equal right and left halves. Frontal plane is the plane dividing the body into front and the back portions, also known as coronal plane. Transverse plane, the horizontal plane dividing the body into upper and lower portions, also known as horizontal plane. These are the body sections in which we can see the frontal plane, median plane, transverse plane. Now sectional anatomy, where you can see the different sections like transverse planes which divides the body into superior or inferior sections. Then the frontal planes dividing the body into anterior and posterior sections. Sagittal plane dividing the body into right and left sections. In case of mid-sagittal, the sections are equal halves. This is a transverse view. This is frontal or the coronal plane. This is sagittal plane. Then come to the movements. The movements in our body are flexion, extension, hyperextension, abduction, adduction, pronation, supination, retraction, protraction, elevation, depression, rotation, circumduction, external rotation, internal rotation, inversion, eversion, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, radial deviation and ulnar deviation. Flexion means it is the body bending a joint or decreasing the angle between the two bones. Here we can see in the image. Extension means straightening a joint or increasing the angle between the two bones. Hyperextension, it is the excessive extension of the parts at a joint beyond anatomical position. So these are the flexion, extension and hyperextension movements. Then adduction, moving a body part towards the midline of the body, it is adduction. Abduction means moving a body part away from the midline. Pronation, turning the arm or the foot downward, and supination, turning the arm or the foot upward. Then retraction, moving a part backward. Protraction, moving a part forward. Elevation, raising a part. Depression, lowering a part. Rotation is turning on a single axis. Circumduction, it is a triplanar circular motion at the hip or the shoulder. Internal rotation is the rotation of the hip or the shoulder towards the midline. External rotation is the rotation of the hip or the shoulder away from the midline. Lateral flexion is the side bending, left or right. Now the movements of the foot. Inversion is the turning the sole of the foot inward. Eversion, turning the sole of the foot outward. Dorsiflexion, ankle movement bringing the foot towards the shin. Plantar flexion, ankle movement pointing the foot away from the shin. So in this diagram we can see the different movements of the foot. Then the movements of the wrist and the thumb. Radial deviation, movement of the wrist towards the radius or lateral side. Ulnar deviation, movement of the wrist towards the ulna or the medial side. Opposition, movement of the thumb across the palm of the hand. So here we can see the images for radial and ulnar deviation and the opposition of the thumb. Then range of motion. Range of motion is the extent of movement of a joint measured in degrees of a circle. Beyond this, a joint cannot be moved. For example, the range of motion of internal rotation is 90 degrees. Beyond this, that will not be rotated internally. So, this completes our topic, the introduction to the human anatomy. Thank you.